The next thing I want to just look at briefly is what is our goal and what is your goal? Now, different people and different CE5 groups have different goals, and it's good to try to maneuver yourself into what your goal is fairly early on. Some people are just interested. They want to find out what reality is. They want to find out the truth, and that's fine. But what you'll find is that other goals will open up to you. My goal is universal peace, and this world has lots of problems, and we are spreading those problems out now into our galactic community. And I would like to set up peaceful relationships with aliens, and indeed spread peace on the planet also. So my sort of secondary goal is to establish a constructive relationship, a peaceful, constructive relationship with aliens. Now, some people's goals are different, and often, they're fine, they're compatible, and that's okay. I'm not going to say that one goal is correct. What you will find that some people out there, some people that do CE5s, and some groups may be lacking in wisdom. And when a group of people who are lacking in wisdom go out and start doing CE5s and contacting aliens, they come across as lacking wisdom, and this is going to not result in anything constructive happening. So I would just urge a little bit of caution as to when you join a new group, whatever that group is, just be a little bit cautious. Get a feel for what they're like. If you're sensing negativity, or if you're sensing extraordinary or excessive lacks of ability to really understand what is real and what isn't, then I would just urge a little bit of caution with that. When you listen to me talking, if you like what my personal goals are, then one option that's open to you is that you can actually become an event host for me and for my groups, and then I would sort of give you extra support on that, and I can zoom in during your events if you want to, and I can actually lead meditations and remote viewing and things like that. So that's also an option. One question that I think is on some people's minds is, how safe is this? Is it safe to be contacting aliens? Is it safe to be doing this given the industrial military complex and all of these secretive people out there who are going around killing people and trying to cover up the truth? And those are valid questions. And I'll answer them. The basic answer is yes, you're safe at the moment. If you get to a certain level, then I'm going to give you a little bit more advice in a moment. You're safe from aliens. They've been here a long time. I don't know exactly how long they've been here, but for probably thousands of years, probably from hundreds of thousands of years, if not millions of years. There's evidence that they've been here before the human race was even here, and if they wanted to take over our three-dimensional planetary space, they could do so. They would have done so. They could have easily killed us by now. Human beings have been incredibly hostile towards them, and still they have not responded violently back to us. So I think there's very good evidence that they don't wish us any harm. Even in cases that seem a bit scary to us, like maybe if there's been an alien abduction, they're always careful to put the people back in the same place. They're not taking them away and chopping them up and eating them. This is they are not wanting to interfere. There's minimal interference. So I don't think we need to be concerned about our safety when it comes to the aliens. And I've had many alien encounters, and I've never been hurt. Now, in terms of humans wishing to keep this secret, in the past there have been people who have been assassinated and killed for doing this sort of thing, but those people had something substantial that they had in their possession, substantial knowledge or substantial alien technology or aliens. And if you are just going out, sitting outside, meditating and pulling in UFOs, and the UFOs are appearing in the sky, and you're doing what you can to communicate with them, that's fine. You're not going to get touched. You don't have anything substantial that you're going to be able to go out and check, really affect what these people out there are doing. And now we have all around the world hundreds of thousands of people doing this, and these dark, secretive people, they realize that they're not going to be able to go out there and stop everybody. They let it happen. If you ever get into the situation where you get hold of alien tech or alien DNA or something like that, suddenly then you've crossed over that threshold where, okay, now you represent a threat to these people. So that's when you need to be careful. If you do ever get hold of any of that sort of stuff, a spacecraft lands and the alien hands you an object, at that stage you need to think about, well, you're safe. You're probably, your safety is at risk, and what do you do with that? If that ever happens, then my suggestion is you don't post on Facebook what happened. You don't even tell your friends. You immediately agree not to text about it. You simply get in your car and you drive to somebody with authority in this subject. So whoever that is in your location, the local head of your MUFON chapter, or take it to the police station, take it to a local news station, something where you take it, you pass on the responsibility to somebody else. Now you would then obviously run the risk of this thing falling into the wrong hands, but probably I would recommend putting your safety first. How do we locate other people?
Sorry, can I just ask one question?
Yeah.
Sorry. How long? I've not done this before, but really, really keen to do it. How long is it likely to take to learn how to do this? I'm quite a spiritual person.
Yeah. This event is going to be all you need to go out there and start doing it. Now, the reality is that some people are more spiritual. They go out, they reach out with their spirit to ETs, they make significant contact, the ETs come in straight away, and the first time they do it, something happens. Some people require training or not training, but practice at meditations and remote viewing in order to be able to connect with ETs. Now, usually if I have a group like this, there will be 2 or 3 people in the group who have enough ability that they can connect with ETs and they can come down and you can start to see something happening. If you want to reliably experience things like Stephen Greer experiences in all of his events, then you have to spend many years building up a relationship with the ETs so that they trust him enough, they know him enough, they know what's going on, and then you'll get quite spectacular things happening. So after the next hour and a half of me talking, you'll have everything you need to go outside this evening or tomorrow maybe and just do a CE5. And it might well work. You will know what you need to know. But practicing the remote viewing, the astral projection, the remote viewing may take a significantly longer period of time.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. So how do we locate other people? Well, there is Dr. Stephen Greer's app. It's the Contact app, CE5 Contact app. Does anybody have that here?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So
it's not it's worth pointing out it's actually it's not great for messaging people, but as I understand it, Dr. Greer is investing quite significantly in the functionality of the app. So where it is now and where it'll probably be in about 6 months' time, it'd probably be much better then.
yeah, I agree. So for those of you that don't know about this app, you can purchase for, I don't know what it is in the UK. It's like $10 here, but you can purchase an app for your phone. Huh?
Yeah, £10. Yeah, £9.99.
£10. Ah, so I think we can get it a bit cheaper here then. So yeah, you can get that app, and it was enough it's enough to contact people locally, because what you can see a map, and you can see how many people are close to you, and it will list the people who are closest to you, and you can just send them a message. And it is absolutely correct that the messaging system is very primitive. It's not great, but it is enough to make contact and start to make some connections and maybe put together a small group. Also, this app, and it's not great, but it's got some interesting things in it. It's got some guidance about how to do a CE5, a little bit like how I'm giving you guidance now. But Facebook groups are great. So, just post away on my Facebook group and other Facebook groups. Hey, I live in Leicester and I want to meet up with other people to do CE5s. Put together a small group, and that's great. There are other platforms like Meetup, where you can set up a group, and you have to pay a subscription to do that, but you can then set up a group in your area, and that will sort of advertise among people in your area. So where should you put on a CE5? The location needs to be as isolated as possible, with somewhere relatively close by that has decent parking, and that parking needs to be within probably about a 30-minute walk. So those are the factors I think you should be considering. Isolated as possible, away from people and roads and towns and villages as much as possible, somewhere where people can meet, where you can have a group of people park, and then where you can walk out to somewhere maybe that's a bit more isolated in the parking area. The way I go about finding locations is I just go on Google Maps, I look at satellite images, and I just scan around my area. And sometimes it's not very easy. Sometimes you need to drive an hour out of a big city, but that's the way to do it. Once I found somewhere on Google Maps that looks like it might be okay, I will search that area for hiking trails or trailheads, because they often lead out into nature in a convenient way. So that's how to find a location. Now, UFOs do appear over populated areas and in busy areas. So the more isolated, the better. But if there's a town or village that's in the valley that you're doing it in, so be it. You may still see things. Most of what you will see is going to be quite up high anyway. To start with, when you start doing CE5s, you're going to see quite distant things going on. Okay, so I'm going to move on to equipment. The most important thing is that you're comfortable doing it when you're on a CE5 event. So clothing, suitable clothing. Now, if it's warm, that's not so hard. If it's cold, that gets a little trickier. People go to the Arctic and the Antarctic, and people go camping in snowy conditions. You can buy from camping shops, from outdoor pursuit shops, you can buy very good insulating clothing. So I've actually just been, yesterday I put together a video showing all of the equipment, all of the clothes that I take CE5ing, and I am going to put that onto my YouTube channel later today. So by tomorrow, you guys will be able to watch that if you want to see these things in more detail. But basically, I recommend for clothes thermal underlayers, like camping thermal underlayers, regular clothing over the top of that, whether it's jeans or sort of jogging trousers or whatever. And then over the top of that, some kind of really decent coat designed for cold weather. I've got a ski jacket, which is very puffy and well insulated, and with a nice hood. I wear a hat underneath, gloves, obviously, and if you and then on the legs, I actually have ski trousers also to go over the under two layers, and that will stop wind and keep out water and add an extra layer of insulation. If your jacket is not windproof and if the wind is just blowing straight through, just a thin outer plastic layer, waterproof plastic layer will stop the wind from getting in. So wearing suitable warm clothing is important. And you know, when you're sitting still outside in the cold, not moving, you do start to lose heat, and that coldness does start to creep in. However, if you dress up with the right clothes, you can stay very warm. I did a New Year's Eve CE5 in the Nevada desert in winter, which gets incredibly cold there, and we all survived it quite comfortably with the right equipment, with the right clothes. So what else should you take with you? A torch or a flashlight. I find these things, the headlamp ones that goes around your head like that, I find these very beneficial. That's really the only equipment that I would recommend you have to have. You have to see where you're going so you can walk and set things up comfortably. You don't actually need anything else. I would suggest also, though, water. You should take with you either a camping chair, a portable chair, or a camping pad, like a sleeping pad that you would put a sleeping bag onto if you were to go camping. I used to walk around with a sort of a foldable chair, but then when I started taking additional tech with me, I was finding I just had too much weight. And so I switched to a camping pad. I've got some of this stuff behind me. So something like this is great, and it's lightweight, and you just unfurl it about 2/3 of the way and leave a bit of it curled up to put your head on. And I find that to be really good. I will put this is a sort of a safety blanket, a survival blanket with a silvered layer on it. It's like a tarp with a silvered layer on it. You can buy this from camping shops. I take that with me to put underneath the mat. So you can take binoculars with you, and I don't have my binoculars here, but in my video I talk about which binoculars are good. You don't want to get the most high power binoculars you can, because then you can't hold it steady, and if there's a UFO in the distance, the UFO is doing this in the screen of the binoculars. So not too high resolution magnification. I actually don't take binoculars with me anymore because of not wanting to carry too much weight. Instead, I want to record everything, so I will carry with me a good camera, a good full frame camera with a good zoom lens on it, and I will put that on a tripod. And I will take with me a video camera. That's a 4K Sony video camera. And the first thing I do when I get to a CE5 location is I walk back 20 meters, set up this pointing at the whole group with the whole background. and so that if anything appears in the sky, you can at least get the flashes or whatever it is you're seeing in the background. It's not a bad idea to have some kind of a laser pointer. So this will, here you go, that will shine a laser into the sky, and if you see something, these things are powerful enough that everybody can see the laser and everybody can see where it's pointing. You can buy this sort of thing on Amazon for about 20 pounds or dollars. So those are all things I recommend. If you're taking a tripod with you, the tripods are good for long exposure shots. In Stephen Greer's movies, he's taken some photos, or some of the people have taken a couple of photos of aliens who have materialized around the group. And you can probably see that the aliens are a bit blurred, out of focus, because then they've not been taken with a flash. There's been a long exposure shot. The shutter opens and closes. There's about a 5-second exposure on some of them, and so things look blurred. Now, if you were holding a camera trying to do that, everything would be ridiculously blurred. So having a tripod for those long exposure shots is beneficial. One thing I have started to do to be able to take higher quality shots at night is I've bought some infrared torches, and those infrared torches can light up the surrounding environment without you seeing it. And then if you have a night shot, this video camera can shoot in, it has like a night vision facility, and it's just a small band of infrared radiation. You're not detecting all of the heat signatures from everywhere, but you can light up the surroundings so that you can get a very crisp, like a crisp, crystal clear image of anything that's there that this infrared light will reflect off. So that would get better images than what Dr. Stephen Greer is getting in his what he's doing. Some people like to go out and get one of these. These are infrared or night vision monoculars. These are kind of pricey. In my YouTube channel, there's one that I recommend. This one is an older model. It records on a little SD card, little memory card, and this one also has basically an infrared torch that throws out infrared light to light things up. But it also is very, very sensitive in the infrared spectrum. And if there is a satellite or a UFO up high, then you can zoom in on it and you can record images of that. And, you know, in a lot of the documentaries out there, somebody's using something like this. Let's see. Now, I don't know if everybody here is a member of my Facebook groups, but I have a group, Global CE5, and I have a group, UK CE5. Then we come to thinking about the virus, because this virus is a consideration if we're going to be hosting in-person events. So I'm allowed to do that. I don't know, are you guys allowed to go out and have, you're not allowed to? Okay, so that's tough. What you can do while you're waiting is to do Zoom CE5 sessions where you can either sit inside or you can sit outside, and you can simply do follow the CE5 protocols, invite them down into your home, or if you're sitting outside, invite them down into the sky outside. The only thing I would advise is if you're inviting them into your home, it's completely safe, but they have strong electromagnetic fields, some of them, and I would detach or unplug your important hard drives or computers. Try and isolate yourself a little bit from important electromagnetic equipment. I did a CE5 in somebody's house over Zoom a few months ago, and when the ET came into her house, all of the lights, there were 5 separate lights on the ceiling around her, blew out, and the ceiling fan blew out, and all at the same time. And you don't want to risk sensitive computers and things. So, but you can sit outside if you're concerned about that. So what I personally do is I just make it very clear what the virus protocols are on my events, like mask wearing. Everybody has to wear masks. Everybody has to socially distance. And if you're not up for doing that, then it's not okay. In terms of the science of it, when you're meeting outside, if you're meeting outside wearing masks and keeping distanced, there's really not much risk at all from spreading viruses. Okay, so you've used Facebook and your contact app or Meetup or whatever it is to get a few people together. You go out there, you found your location, you all meet up, you walk from your cars out to the location when you're going to do your CE5, and you set up a circle, a decent sized circle. You need to be at least 6 feet separated, probably 8 to 10 feet is good. And so you set up your circle of chairs or mats. You set up your cameras, one video camera if you've got one to record one side. The more you've got covering different angles, the better. I have just my regular camera in front of me so that I can quickly leap up and take photos if anything interesting appears. Then you would when everybody's ready, you give your introduction speech. And I suggest it's going to be explain what your goals are. I would suggest then you explain what you're trying to do in terms of connecting with aliens and extraterrestrials and transdimensional beings and spirits. I suggest you give a brief explanation as to what is out there. And I'm going to now just quickly give you a brief explanation as though I'm doing it. Okay, so imagine this is like a practice. Welcome everybody to the CE5. First of all, let's establish what our goals are. Our goals this evening are to connect in peace and in love with any friendly alien beings that are out there who are willing to come in and listen to us. Now, the term alien is a very wide-reaching word. It means simply a sentient organism that is not human. But there are extraterrestrial aliens and there are terrestrial aliens. Many of the aliens that we see the UFOs of, or the aliens that we see like the greys and things walking around sometimes, many of those are terrestrial. They are simply, they were born on the earth or around the earth. They have lived their lives in the vicinity of the earth. They just live in places where we can't perceive them easily, mostly extra-dimensional space. So using the term extraterrestrials to represent all of the things that are out there is probably not very accurate. The term alien kind of works for everything, but we're going to try and connect with terrestrial aliens who live extra-dimensionally. We're also going to try to communicate with extraterrestrial aliens who would come in to us when we invite them in. We also need to be aware that we may be connecting with terrestrial transdimensional beings that have evolved on the planet Earth. For example, when we do this sort of thing, sometimes human spirits come in, of deceased humans, because we're connecting with these extra dimensional realms, and human spirits live in these realms. I don't pretend to know what all of these terrestrial transdimensional beings are, but I can tell you that I've encountered on some of my expeditions things that are more kind of like Bigfoot, more sort of fairy-like or pixie or elf, or some of these old myths and legends. Some of those may be actual real transdimensional beings that are terrestrial, and sometimes things like that show up when we start remote viewing. So it's good to prep people that these are the possibilities. But when you stay focused on a pure, loving, peaceful intent, you only get pure, loving, peaceful beings coming in. You never get anything dark coming in. I've never experienced that at a CE5 event. So this is all entirely safe. So how are we going to connect with those beings? First of all, I know we've had one or two more people arrive. I just want to say welcome to you. I'm just starting to talk about how do we lead an actual CE5 event. So how do we connect to ETs or aliens? Well, if you just go outside and you sit on a hillside and you just look up into the sky and say, hey, we're here, probably not much is going to happen, because these beings, they don't have magical powers. They can't suddenly know that you're there unless you tell them that you're there. So I know that there are some groups out there with thousands of members, and they will go out on a hillside and they'll set up a barbecue, and they'll take their alcohol along, and they'll have this big party, and they'll be looking up into the sky waiting for something to happen, and nothing appears. What you need to do is you need to reach out to them spiritually, psychically, and tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, we're here. Would you like to come down and appear before us? Would you like to come down and visit us? Would you like to have some kind of a meaningful, peaceful relationship with us? That's what you need to do. And the way we do this is we meditate. So we calm our minds, we meditate, we try and become in tune with our spirit. Then we astrally project. That's where we take part of our consciousness or part of our spirit elsewhere. And usually what I do is we project into space, and then from there we remote view. Now, remote viewing and astral projection or astral travel, it's all very, very similar. It's basically the same stuff. It's taking your body somewhere else, your spiritual body somewhere else, and connecting with something. But the remote viewing is specifically sort of this perceiving what is out there. And remote viewing is something that you can train up for in a much more advanced way. You can actually go to the CIA website, go to their library section, and download the CIA's remote viewing training manual. That's something I actually did. And I spent a day reading through the whole training manual, which they published. Now, there's different methodology for remote viewing, and next weekend I'm going to lead just a remote viewing practice or training session. But today, in a few minutes, I will lead you through a meditation. I'll lead you through an astral projection. I'll lead you through a remote viewing and teach you exactly what to do to connect with ETs and to invite them to come down and talk to you. So that's preparing everybody for what is going to happen. Then you would ask people to silence their phones, turn off their phones, or put them away because you don't want to be disturbed while you're meditating. You would ask people, if you see something while we're meditating, please don't interrupt, because it just takes people out of the meditation, the remote viewing. And then you would lead the meditation. And so everybody now, let's close our eyes and just calm ourselves and relax our bodies. And we're going to take a few deep breaths in and out. And when we do that, we're going to breathe in through our noses and out through our mouths. And each time we breathe out, I want you to picture breathing out tensions and worries and concerns. And each time you breathe out, picture your body relaxing more and more and more. So we're breathing in through our noses and out through our mouths, and relaxing every time we breathe out. And when we breathe in, I want you to picture that you're not just breathing in three-dimensional molecules of oxygen, you're also breathing in extra-dimensional matter known as charitha. It's the matter, the substance that spirits are made out of. I want you to picture breathing that in. And when you breathe it in, it fills your body like a warm, luminous cloud of healing, spiritual essence. And we become particularly aware now of our hands. We feel our hands, and we feel the spiritual energies moving through our hands. Visualize in your mind your spirit hands, which are generally hand-shaped, within and extending outside of your biological hands. Picture your spiritual hands, feel the energies moving through them, and feel them and visualize them relaxing all of the muscles in your hands, healing, relaxing, regenerating. And we see our spiritual hands extending through our wrists, circulating in twists and turns up into our lower arms, through all of the muscles and the bones, relaxing and soothing. Visualize this happening and feel it if you can. See our spirits extending through our elbows and up into our upper arms. See and feel our spirits moving through our biceps, relaxing them, and our triceps, and through the bones and the tendons and ligaments. And see our spirits extending up through our shoulders and around the back, over our shoulder blades towards our spine. And feel and see our spirits slowly moving down our backs, relaxing all of our back muscles, sweeping out tensions and worries, concerns, clearing blockages, releasing knots. And take our spirits to the base of our spines, and one vertebra at a time, see your spirit extend and move upwards through the discs, healing, regenerating, rejuvenating. See and feel this warm cloud of your own spirit extending up through your spine, higher and higher, all the way up to your neck. And we're slowly tuning in to our entire spirit. Now see your spirit falling like a warm cloud of energy through your lungs, extending out through all the passageways and into your hearts. Feel love in your heart. Feel our mutual goal of universal peace. And we let our spirits move forwards through our rib cage onto our chests. Allow your spirit to roam around over your chests, through soft tissues, through muscles, seeking out anything negative, breaking it down, dissolving, relaxing, and soothing. And our spirits flow down over our stomachs, through our abdominal muscles, everything relaxing. Move through your intestines and liver and kidneys. Our spirit is filling out through our entire torsos. And this is us. We are our spirits. Our spirits flow down into our pelvic areas, moving around and healing and relaxing. See the intricate currents of your spirit as it moves into your upper legs, relaxing your leg muscles, sinking deep, deep down into the bone, into the centers of the bone, through all of your blood vessels and your nerves, relaxing your leg muscles, flowing through our knees into our lower legs. And we feel the spirit flowing through our calves, our shins. And we see the spirit extend down through our ankles into our feet. And our feet relax. Everything is relaxed. And we can now feel and perceive almost our entire spirit, all in one picture. We're going to complete the picture by moving our attention to the base of our necks, flowing up through our necks, through the bones, through the muscles, through our throat, relaxing. And see and feel our spirits flowing over the back of our heads, all the way over the surface, to our foreheads, which relax, and our temples relax, our jaw muscles and our mouths relax, and our eyes and our eye muscles relax. And now we feel the spirit flowing through our skulls into our brains. See your spirit moving around inside your brains with the same level of intricacy and complexity as our biological brains. Our spirit flows around, strengthening, healing, dissolving toxins, relaxing, and calming, and filling with peace and love. And we access those parts of our brains that are responsible for spiritual perception. It doesn't matter if we don't fully understand where they are or how they work. Picture in your mind those areas brightening with spiritual energy and opening up. And now, in one entire picture, we can see our whole spirits. We can feel them. This is who we are, just as much as our biological body. This is where our consciousness lies. And our spirits are starting to feel lighter. We can feel that they want to kind of push upwards through our bodies. Allow your spiritual body to slowly move out upwards from your biological body. If you can't see this happening clearly, just imagine it happening and it will happen. Imagine yourself above your body looking down. Picture yourself sitting or lying below. Picture your biological body. See the chair that you're sitting on, the environment that you're sitting in. And you feel calm and you feel relaxed. And what we're going to do next is slowly let our spirit drift further upwards. Imagine it drifting upwards. Imagine yourself drifting upwards through your ceiling and through the roof of the building that you're in. Imagine yourself moving up into the sky outside. Picture it. If you picture it happening, it is happening. And you see your building shrinking below, and we move higher into the sky, and higher, and higher, and we move through clouds, and we see the whole neighborhood shrinking below. We see towns, villages, cities shrinking and shrinking as we move further and further up into the sky. And we slowly are moving towards space, and we notice the air is thinning around us, and we notice the darkness of space encroaching around us. And we keep moving calmly into the darkness of space. And we look down below, and we can see the entire planet Earth below us. And I am going to move my spirit now around the globe to be where you are, above the UK. And we all look down at the UK together and we see it from above. And now look around at the other spirits who are here in space around us. It doesn't matter if you can't clearly perceive any of this. If you will it to happen, it will happen. Reach out your spirit hands and connect with the other people in this group. Connect with the other spirits. Feel the connection. Welcome the connections. We're going to form a network of spirits holding hands. And we feel love for each other. We feel friendship for each other. Even though we have our differences, even though we don't agree upon everything, we agree upon this one peaceful goal, this one loving, positive, constructive goal of connecting with ETs, with aliens, with trans-dimensional beings. Feel the love in your heart and feel that love spreading throughout our group. And now let's turn our attention outwards towards space. Look into the deep darkness of space with all of the beautiful pinpoints of light, stars and galaxies, and the planets and the moon. And in a minute, we are going to remote view. We are going to let our spirits reach out, connecting with this network of conscious minds and spirits that exists throughout the universe. We're going to let our own spirit locate any friendly aliens that are out here. We're going to target them by thinking of any particular alien that you would like to connect with, or any particular UFO, or flying saucer, or alien vehicle. You can target a particular species if you like, or you can simply target the closest friendly alien or trans-dimensional being, the closest one to you. And when we reach out to connect with these aliens, hold the love in your heart, hold the friendship in your heart. And we're not just going to reach out into the three-dimensional spaces that we can see, because we are multi-dimensional beings. Our spirits are multi-dimensional, and we can extend out of these three dimensions, and we can search for alien life in extra-dimensional spaces too. So everybody, when I say the word target, I want you to imagine your spirit instantly, automatically, effortlessly finding itself at the target ET or alien that is in your mind. Picture your target, and again, target. Hold on to that being. Even if you can't see it clearly, imagine in your mind and search, open up your spirit, straining to perceive it. And when you're at your target, smile with a spirit smile, radiate love, and relay to the alien being or the alien craft the following message. We come in peace. I come in peace as part of a group of human spirits who wish only to be friendly, to be loving, and to establish peaceful relationships with you. Please allow me to communicate with you. Please will you tell me or show me your appearance so that I can see it clearly. If you have a name or an identity that I can perceive, please show me that image now, or tell me that name. If you have any technology that can help me to understand you better and to see you better, please use it on me so that I can communicate with you more easily. If there's any message that you would like to give to me, any information you would like to give to me, or anything you would like to teach me, I open up my mind to you now. Please show me now. And now I'm going to invite you to come back with me to the planet Earth, to appear physically in front of our physical bodies so that we can see you more clearly. If it's safe for you to do so, please will you come back with us and materialize your spacecraft or your vehicle or your habitat so that our biological bodies can see it clearly. And we're going to bow our heads respectfully, and we're slowly going to back away our spirits, move our spirits away, and invite the aliens to follow. And now move your spirit back to the same location above the UK, above the Earth where we were before. And let's find each other's spirits again and connect once again with these spirits. And we feel love and we feel friendship. And we turn outwards again to the ETs or the aliens or the transdimensional beings that we connected with. And we radiate love and friendship out to them. And now we turn our attention back towards the planet Earth. And in your mind, point to the UK. Show any aliens that are here with us where the UK is. And point to the country that you're in. And point to the county that you're in. And now take your spirit down through the atmosphere, down through the atmosphere, through clouds, through the sky, until you are about a mile above your home. Keeping your spirits open so that the aliens can follow you. And once you are a mile above your homes, in your mind, point to where your town or your village or your city is, and beam that message, beam that location outwards to all aliens that are listening to you. And now take your body, take your spirit back down all the way to your home. See your home from above. Move through the ceiling, move into the room where your biological bodies are, and move into your biological body. And feel once again your spirit back inside your biological body. And keep your whole spirit open. And what you're going to do, what we all are going to do, is we're going to invite, if you feel comfortable doing this, we're going to invite the alien spirits to come in to our rooms, if they can do so without disrupting our electrical equipment. Let them know that your electrical equipment is important to you and that it's delicate. And let them know they're welcome to come in and just say hello and be with you for a few minutes if they want to. If you're not comfortable doing this, just close off your spirit and say that you've had enough now, and goodbye. Open up your invitation and feel them and picture them materializing or appearing or being close to you in the room in which you are. Send the feeling of love and friendship to them. And ask them if they wouldn't mind making an object move in your house, or making a sound somewhere, or making a light turn on and off, if they're capable of doing so. Now tell them your name and let them know that you are going to be inviting them in the future to come and do CE5s with them, to come and communicate with them outside as part of a group. And let them know that if they wish to, they can come back in friendship and communicate with you there. And now say goodbye to them. Thank them for coming. And suggest to them now, respectfully, that it's time for them to leave and that you will see them again in the future. And now we feel that our spirits are fully back inside our bodies. We can feel our hands and our feet and our head. We can feel the chair that we're sitting in. And our alien connection is now severed. And we can open our eyes when we're ready. So that is the basic procedure, and really you can guide it in any way you want. When you're doing a CE5 outside, you can guide them to come down and you can invite them to appear in the sky, to land close to you, to come in and walk around you. It's quite common when we ask them to come in and actually walk around us, we actually sometimes do hear footsteps. There was one time where two people at the same time felt a hand touch them on the shoulder from behind. Some people who are good at remote viewing or spiritual or who can see spirits can actually see sometimes things walking around. It's kind of analogous to, you think in your mind tells you your hand to move, and your hand just automatically moves. When your mind tells your spirit to move, if you're relaxed and calm and tuned in with it, your spirit will move. And even though you might not be able to perceive it happening as if you're actually there, it is happening. And we did just, if you were following everything I was doing, we did just take our spirits into space. And we did just sort of knock on the door of ETs and invite them to come in. There are now aliens out there who heard us, who know our names. And that's real, whether you perceive it or not. Now, I know this from experience. And it will just take more experience for you guys to get to that level of knowing that's also true. What I suggest, one thing you can do is you can try meditating for 20 minutes every day. If you want to, come back this time next week and I will teach you more remote viewing techniques. I will teach you some of the CIA's techniques, and I will teach you a blend of techniques that I think work well. Before I move on to this next part, does anybody have any questions or comments about anything that we've done so far?
Yeah, that was great. Actually, it was very cool. I've not done that many times. Definitely experienced something in space. It was like it looked like a grey with a really long neck. Put it that way.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very difficult for my mind to keep locked on and bring back here. That just needs practice, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's correct. I was being shown some kind of tech, alien tech, and it was like I was seeing the inside of machinery, and it was a blend of biological and physical together. And but it was a bit hard to understand why I was being shown that. I received a message over the chat now, somebody asking me about reptilians in particular. So I'm going to answer that question. I personally have never encountered reptilians, but a good friend of mine who can perceive the spiritual realms and extra-dimensional space very clearly has seen reptilians, had encounters with them where they have been people disguised as reptilians. And this might start to sound a bit like kind of science fiction, like going back to V and stuff like that. But there are ETs walking around in certain locations on the planet. There are definitely ETs in Las Vegas. They like going to Sprouts and Whole Foods and Trader Joe's, grocery stores. I've been told, probably sounds like I'm going a bit crazy now, but some people have seen in Long Beach, there's a shop in Long Beach where they were working in a shop. And what I've been told, I've not perceived this myself, but what I've been told sometimes is that people, when they meet other people, suddenly they just know, something tells them this is not human. This person is not a human. They get this really strong feeling that what they're seeing is not real. And a couple of people I know, when they've encountered that, they've been standing next to somebody and in their mind they've said, "What are you?" And the person has turned around and looked straight at them like they could hear their thought. And some of these have been reptilian. Reptilians have kind of a bad name. They are supposed to be, some people feel that they're quite hostile and not really friendly, but they just keep to themselves. I'm not going to tell you that I know reptilians are real, but I'm telling you that, but what I can tell you is that there's a lot of people that feel like they've seen them very clearly. and one of my friends felt like she was talking to somebody, and in her mind she said, are you an alien? And the woman, when she heard that, she turned her face to the side and morphed into a reptilian face and turned back as a reptilian and looked at her, and then changed back to human. And it was like she let her see her true form. And this woman has basically told me the sense that she gets is reptilians, some are nice people, some are not nice people. So I would say that when you go into a situation with good intentions in a friendly way, then you get friendliness back. If you shoot an alien or do something ridiculous like that, then you might, not get a friendly response back. So often you do that meditation, you come down, not much happens. You sit there waiting patiently, and instantly you start to feel that some people are disappointed. We have to be prepared for nothing to happen. And I would say that maybe about 30 to 40% of the time, nothing happens. Dr. Stephen Greer has built up really special relationships with these aliens. So when he has an event, they all come straight in and they start appearing and doing crazy weird things, and everybody gets excited. We have to be more patient than that. We have to not emit negativity and just understand we're trying, we're here, we're trying. And if you keep doing that a few times, sooner or later something will happen. What is likely to happen initially is that you will start seeing brief periods of light appear in the sky, like flashes which are not the airplane flashes. Now, if you record on a video an airplane at night, you can slow down the video and you can time how long these flashes last, and they're regular intervals, usually separated by a second, about a second. When you record and slow down videos of these blinking UFOs, what they're doing is they're phasing into existence enough so that you can see them, and then they're phasing out. If they're in the air too long, they get shot at by the industrial military complex. It's not safe for them. So that's why I always say, if it's safe for you to appear, please do so. But what you will start to see are these flashes happening. And if you then reach out your consciousness to them and tell people, reach out your consciousness to them, let them know that we're here in peace, and ask them, can you do that again? Then often you actually see them reappearing, maybe moving in the sky in different locations, but you see them reappearing. They respond to your consciousness if you can connect to them. And I've got videos of that happening where I've slowed it down. And I haven't got videos of a nice UFO, a physical object, but I've got videos of sort of the plasma, spiritual, undulating lights that appear, and they are distinctly different to planes. One thing you can do is you can download a free app called Heavens Above, and that, when you hold it up to the sky, it shows you what the constellations are that you're pointing at. It's called Heavens Above. And it also shows you what satellites are in the sky at that time. So if you see something moving through the sky, you can hold up this app, Heavens Above, and if it's an actual known satellite, it'll appear. And if it's not on there, it's likely to be something else. If you see a light moving across the sky, reach out to it, ask it, can you change direction? Can you move towards us? If it just keeps going in a straight line, or even a curved line across the sky, it's very likely to be a satellite. At any one time, there are probably 10 different satellites all in in the sky, and you can only see them when the sunlight reflects off them. But one of the most annoying things during CE5 events is when a satellite appears and moves across the sky, and then somebody says, "The star beings are here. Thank you so much. It's an orb. Wonderful." And they get all excited, and I say, "No, that is the NASA satellite, Space Observatory." And they say, "No, open up your minds. It's a star being." You know, we have to try to be realistic and not just believe things. So then after the meditation, wait a while, watch, wait. If nothing happens after about 10 minutes, ask people, did you experience anything? Sometimes there's a quiet person who went up, found themselves in a UFO and saw everything, just doesn't want to talk about it. And so ask them. While you're sitting there looking at the sky, just keep radiating and reaching out your spirit, your consciousness, inviting them to come in. Now, Dr. Stephen Greer likes to do a couple of things that I generally don't do. I don't think there's any harm in trying them, and sometimes I do. One thing is he plays sounds that he thinks are from a UFO, and those sounds are available on the CE5 Contact app. To me, that's a little bit like, okay, I recorded their vehicle sound like a car engine sound, and now into the air I'm going to play a car engine sound to see if that will ask them to come down. It doesn't quite make logical sense to me, but there's no harm in trying. He also likes to do coherent thought sequencing. Does anybody here know what that is? Okay. What he does is a bit like what I did, he goes into a meditation and he imagines in his head the location where he is and transmits it up throughout the universe. Everybody imagines being a mile up, looking down at the location where he is. Then he transmits it up. Then he imagines being just above the atmosphere, looking down at the country where you are and transmitting. Basically, he's transmitting the address of where you are. And he keeps taking it step by step by step up outside the solar system, looking at the planets and identifying which is the Earth. He takes it further and he takes it up out of the galaxy and then the local cluster of galaxies, etc. And then he transmits that, and then he does the same thing, stepping backwards, inwards to where you are. Now, I think, sure, that is going to be picked up by aliens, and that is going to help to bring them in. So I don't think there's any harm in doing that. My own perception is that they don't need that to happen. Aliens know where you are. They know where your spirit is. They know where you're coming from. And if you ever do remote viewing training with me, you'll understand why I think that is just this instinctive, you know where it's coming from. But you can do that. It's called coherent thought sequencing. It's sending a sequence of thoughts as a collective group coherently together of your location up into space and then back down. If nothing happens after 20 minutes, try taking intuitive photographs, holding your camera, feeling, reaching out with your spirit. And if you feel like something might be there, take a photo. Sometimes with flash, sometimes without flash. You can try a second meditation, and then this time focus on not them appearing in the sky, focus on them walking around among you. If you want to do a meditation where you reach out sort of more sideways to the terrestrial transdimensional beings like Bigfoot type creatures or friendly spirits, and inviting them to come in. One thing that I've tried doing here is leaving gifts for Bigfoot type creatures. I don't think they have a high level of intelligence. I think they're just natural transdimensional beings, a bit like gorillas. Yes, you can leave gifts. If you're going to leave gifts, I recommend leaving natural gifts, which are not like dead animals or anything like that. So stones, rocks, wood, plants, flowers. And what some people have found is that when you leave things like that out in a location, the transdimensional beings come in and rearrange those gifts or leave other gifts. And it's just like this little playful communication that can go backwards and forwards sometimes. And basically, that's explained everything to do during a CE5 event. There's lots of variations of meditations you can do. And if you were to come to some of my online events, some more of my Zoom events, I can show you some of those. So what's really important, I think, I'm going to tell you about the bigger picture now, the much bigger picture, and there's way more in here than people generally understand. The reason why we don't have open communications, an open relationship with aliens, is we simply don't come across as being wise enough. The aliens are not really particularly interested in us. They're here, they're moving around. This is part of their territory where they move around. We happen to be organisms that live here. And if we reach out to them, then sometimes they're like, oh, this is nice. This is an organism reaching out to me. I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to connect with them and even help them a little bit. Just like you might if you had a nice friendly squirrel or rabbit or, I don't know, something come up to you. They're not here to save us or to help us. They're not here to harvest us. They've been here for a long time. They know we're here, but sometimes you remote view to them and you say, hey, I come in peace. Would you like to talk to me? And they turn around and say, well, not really. Goodbye. And they just kind of say no, and then they disappear off. So the big picture is, if we want to have relationships with them, we need to come across as being wiser, because our civilization, our species, is just all about, is full of crazy beliefs, beliefs which are not true. And if we want to have a good relationship with them, we need to seem wiser. Wisdom is composed of two different elements: understanding reality and understanding morality. And some of the events that I host are specifically designed to try to help people reach a more sort of realistic alien level of wisdom. So being wise, being peaceful, just being good, and leading your life in that way is going to help them to want to connect with you more. Now, you're going to encounter people with lots of beliefs, and what my approach is to be respectful of everybody's beliefs. But if somebody is saying something that is kind of contrary to what you know to be real, then I think it's important and okay to be able to say to them politely, no, that there is not a UFO, that there is an airplane moving towards us. When you go to websites that talk about this sort of thing, they're going to be talking about the whole universe of beliefs, most of which have little filaments of elements of truth within them, but mostly they're going to be completely wrong. It's a failing of humanity that we just believe things. Belief is actually invalid. We can know things, or we can know that we don't know things, or we can know how likely something is to be true or not true. But when you start believing things, you can believe anything at all. And some people, when they visit these websites where people discuss this sort of stuff, they start believing everything that everybody says. And a lot of it is simply not true. So I do encourage people to really maintain your critical thinking and an open mind, but be willing to discard things. That's maybe a very general and non-specific, but hopefully just I guess advising, don't be fooled into believing everything that everybody says. I encourage you not to believe anything that I say, to go out there and try things, see what works, and if you get proof of something, great. If you don't, maybe I'm not telling the truth, maybe I'm mistaken. That's a healthy approach. If any of you like what I'm saying and you're on board with everything I'm saying, wisdom and morality and reality, and not, trying not to believe things, trying to just know things. If you're on board with all of this and you like the idea of actually being an event host for me, then I'm basically on the lookout for anybody who might like to be an actual event host in England and using me or this platform to host events for me. So if anybody likes the idea of doing that, and I will give you as much help as you need with that, then let me know. Otherwise, just check the Facebook pages, Global CE5 and UK CE5, for links to the videos and other events that I'm going to put on.